Hello everyone. So we have been starting and covering the topics of Indian polity and constitution at work, which is very important and very helpful for the upcoming state civil services examinations and UPSC examinations as well. So I just request all of you students that be ready with your pen and your copies so that we can cover up all the basic to advanced concepts and we can gear up for our exam preparation. Okay. So in the previous lectures we have already covered the constitutional development within India, how our constitution came into the present day scenario, and today we are starting with the next stage of Indian polity and constitution at work, and that is making of the Indian constitution. So before we study making of the Indian constitution, do you all know when our constitution was absolutely enacted? Do you all know when our constitution was absolutely implemented? Do you know when our Indian constitution was absolutely adopted? So yes, it was the date of 26th January, and which you people celebrate as Republic Day. So there is a very interesting story behind this 26th January 1950, the date being decided as our Republic Day, or the day on which our constitution was absolutely implemented. So why this date was chosen? So this date was chosen because of a very remarkable historical incidence, and you will find that the nationalist struggle was at its peak at that time, and this date was very important. So let's get to that story. Okay. So as we all know that Indian National Congress that time was not a political party, it was actually a platform for all the great nationalist leaders which kind of represented each and every sections of the Indian society. So this is the time of December 1929, and on December 1929 Indian National Congress is having its very significant meeting in Lahore. Lahore was at that time a part of India, a part of undivided India, and in this Lahore's meeting of 1929, first time tricolor flag was hosted by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and a resolution was passed that now we Indians need Purna Swaraj, now we Indians need absolute independence, and a day was decided which should be celebrated as the day of absolute independence. So 26th January 1930 was the decided date on which Indians were going to celebrate absolute independence day, the Purna Swaraj Divas. And in order to pay tribute to this decided day, when we all Indians in our own capacity with our full strength decided that now we just want absolute independence, now we don't want to lower our standards, now we don't want to be a dominion status, we want to be a sovereign nation, and in order to pay tribute, this date was deliberately chosen for the constitution to be absolutely implemented. Okay. So we got our independence on 15th of August 1947 actually, and our Indian constitution was absolutely implemented on 26th January 1950. So how our constitution was made, who made it, and how it was gradually developed. So today we are going to study about this very interesting topic. Okay. So just join in with the class, you are going to enjoy it and you are going to learn n number of facts and concepts today. So let's gear up. Now you can clearly see in the board, okay, drafting committee and draft of India. Could you see that? So what is this drafting committee and what is this draft of India? So I'll be covering all these topics one after the another. So we are going to cover up the various concepts today. Okay, it's going to be very interesting. So in order to frame our constitution, we need a group of people which was called as the Constituent Assembly of India. So now Indians are demanding, we are gradually realizing the importance of having our own Indian Constituent Assembly, a sovereign Constituent Assembly. And for the first time a demand was put up before the Britishers that we Indians, we want an absolute Indianized Indian version of Constituent Assembly, because we as Indians will be able to frame a better constitution for our own self. Okay. So this demand was first put forth, this idea was first given by Mr. M. N. Roy in 1934, and the Britishers accepted this demand of Indians to have their own constituent assembly in order to frame their own constitution was accepted by August Offer in 1940. Okay. So, if somebody asks you this question that by which proposals the demand of Indian Constituent Assembly was first accepted by Britishers, so the answer would be August Offer of 1940. However, we got our Indianized, our own sovereign constituent assembly by cabinet mission, which came in 1946. Okay. So, if somebody asks who gave Indians their Indian Constituent Assembly, so the answer would be cabinet mission of 1946. Okay. In between there were many failed attempts, but finally we were able to have our own Constituent Assembly. So, this Constituent Assembly of India, it was a very power packed group of people, and most of these people were lawyers. They were highly educated, they were having the channels, the energy pump of nationalism running in their veins, and they absolutely understood each and every section's grievances. Attempts were made that each and every section of Indian society was represented in Constituent Assembly. Okay. So, we are going to study about this Constituent Assembly, and the most important part of this Constituent Assembly was the draft of Indian Constitution. So, what is the draft? So, for example, when you can see that the buildings are being constructed, the fundamental pillars of building are the columns, the beams, right, the foundation of the building. Similarly, the draft of Indian Constitution was basically the foundation of Indian Constitution. It was a rough sketch and a rough picture of Indian Constitution, and continuous changes were made on it so that we will be able to have our own Indianized version of Constitution. Okay. Because Constitution was very much needed. It was very much essential that if we will get independent, we should have our own set of laws based on which the government needs to function systematically. Okay. So, that is why it was very important. So, today we are going to study about the draft and who framed the draft of the Indian Constitution. So, the main group of people who were responsible to frame the draft of Indian Constitution was the drafting committee. Okay. So, let us come to this. So, that is the center point. The most important aspect of the Constituent Assembly was the drafting committee. Okay. So, as I told you that we got our own constitution, and in 26 January 1950 and 26 December 1929, it was the day on which 26 January 1930 was decided as the Purna Swaraj Divas, which we have already covered. So, that is that point. Okay. And 26 January 1950 was chosen to be the day of enacting and implementing our constitution. So, the idea of having our own constitutional draft was first put by Mr. M.N. Roy in 1934. He was a very great leader as well. He was a communist leader who was majorly involved in the independence of India. Okay, Mr. M.N. Roy. Now, this idea put forth by M.N. Roy was officially raised by Congress in 1935 before the British government. Okay, and the British government accepted this demand by what? By August Offer of 1940, which we have already covered. Then comes the Cabinet Mission. So, in Cabinet Mission 1946, we got our own Indian Constituent Assembly. Okay, so Cabinet Mission arrived, and in 1946 we were having our own Indian Constituent Assembly in order to frame the constitution. Now, the constitution got ready on 26th of November 1949. So, our constitution got ready on 26th November 1949, but deliberately, as we have already decided, it was implemented on the pre-decided date of 26 January 1950. However, certain urgent provisions, the provisions which were very much necessary for our nation to have with, were immediately implemented, like citizenship. Who will be the citizens of India? Elections, how elections in India would be conducted? Provisional parliament, who will be the meanwhile law making body and how will it function? Temporary and transitional provisions, like various provisions which were needed as per the that time, like whatever challenges were existing at that time. In order to address those challenges, certain transitional and temporary provisions were also enacted. So all this got implemented by 26 November 1949 only, but our constitution came into full force by 26 January 1950. Clear? So now next move to the next topic. Now we are going to study about the sittings of Indian Constituent Assembly. Okay. So whenever we want to frame our own constitution, it is very important for us to know about the various sittings of the Indian Constituent Assembly. So various sittings of the Indian Constitution Assembly were organized. We were having our own Constituent Assembly. The Constituent Assembly was having around 289 members finally. And these 289 to 299 members were there. So these members would meet on decided dates. They would discuss on the draft. They would make some amendments. Voting shall happen. A common consensus would be created, and gradual amendments were created in order to draft our own full and final version of Indian Constitution. So we are going to study about the various sittings of the Indian Constituent Assembly. Questions are being asked on this. Okay. So the first sitting of Indian Constitution Assembly was made on December 9, 1946. So it's the year of 1946, and on December 9, the first meeting of Constituent Assembly happened. Okay. And during this first meeting, a member was decided in order to be the monitoring authority of this meeting. Okay. He should be the president of the Constituent Assembly. So that time an interim president, meanwhile president was decided, and who was this interim president? He was Dr. Sachinanand Sinha. Okay. So he was decided as the first interim president of the Indian Constituent Assembly. Point to be noted, he was the interim president. Okay. Then comes December 11, 1946. This is the second sitting or the second meeting of the Indian Constituent Assembly, and during this second meeting, the first permanent president of the Indian Constituent Assembly was decided, and who was he? He was Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So he was elected by the Indian Constituent Assembly as the president of the Indian Constituent Assembly for drafting the constitution. Okay. And later on he became the first president of India. Now after this, there was the third sitting of Indian Constituent Assembly, and this third sitting, when did it occur? It occurred on December 13. December 13, 1946 is the date where the third sitting of Indian Constituent Assembly was set up. And what happened during this third sitting of Indian Constituent Assembly? Objective resolution as a proposal was projected by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, objective resolution by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. And what is this objective proposal? So objective proposal basically means the guiding light for the functioning of the Constituent Assembly. However, Indian Constituent Assembly is going to function, on what all points various discussions will be made, on what on basis various discussions will be made, how the proceedings will go ahead of the Indian Constituent Assembly. All these things were mentioned in this objective proposal. Okay. So it was December 13, 1946 on which Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru proposed the objective resolution. Okay, a very significant date. So keep that in mind. Often the questions are asked. Now comes the next important date, that is August 29, 1947. Drafting committee appointed with Dr. B.R. Ambedkar as the chairman. As I told you, drafting committee was the major foundation of the Constituent Assembly. Okay, it was one of the most responsible, most active bodies when it comes to the framing of the Indian Constitution. And who was the chairman of the drafting committee of Indian Constituent Assembly? He was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and that's why each time we pay high regards to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar when it comes to the framing of the Indian Constitution. Okay, he was the chairman of the one of the most significant committees of the Constituent Assembly. Now comes November 4, 1947. What happens on November 4, 1947? Draft constitution was submitted. So what is this draft constitution? As I told you, a rough sketch of constitution. Basic points have been decided, discussions would be made, few changes would be made, few amendments would be made in it, few things would be deleted, would be omitted, few things would be added, and overall we will be getting our own constitution. So this draft constitution was first submitted on November 4, 1947. Then comes 26th November 1949. So the drafting of the Indian constitution was absolutely completed on 26th November 1949. The whole constitution of India was drafted in its full and final form on which date? 26th November 1949, which is commonly known as the Constitution Day. Okay. Then comes November 26, 1949, the handwritten constitution was signed. So all the members of the Indian Constituent Assembly, they signed the major world's largest written constitution, the great Indian Constitution, on 26 November 1949 itself. Okay. And it was January 26, 1950 when the constitution was legally enforced in the whole nation. Okay. So these were the major sittings, the very important sittings of the Indian Constituent Assembly. So just go through it once and remember it. Okay. Now the next topic is sources of Indian Constitution. So as we all know, Indian Constitution is world's largest constitution. It is a written constitution and it is basically inspired by n number of constitutions. Okay. So we as Indians were having less time to frame the constitution, and our India is a diversified nation. We have unity in diversity. So in order to address the various sections of Indian society, it was very much needed that we had a very sensitive, very comprehensive, detailed and a to the point constitution. And for that we needed various references in order to improvise our work. So what our leaders did? So basically we have already studied about 1935's Government of India Act. Okay. You can refer to the previous lectures to go through it. So 1935's Government of India Act, this framed around 55 to 60% part of the present day constitution. Okay. So it became the source of 55 to 60% of Indian constitution. What about the rest 40% part? What about the rest 40 to 45% part? As I told you, it was inspired by various constitutions of different nations. Okay. So our leaders had a thorough study, they studied it well and then they brought significant changes in it. Okay. And including these significant changes inspired by various other nation's constitution, Indian constitution was enacted. Okay. So sometimes the questions are asked, from which constitution this part of Indian constitution was inspired. Okay. So we are covering few of the significant topics. So from the British constitution, first past the post system was inspired. What is it? I would be discussing that in the upcoming classes. Parliamentary form of government was also inspired by the British constitution. Okay. Parliamentary form of government. So what do you mean by parliamentary form of government? Okay. So in order to understand that aspect, let me cover a few topics. Okay. So basically there are two types of forms of government which prevail in the entire world. What is that? One is the parliamentary form of government and the other is the presidential form of government. So what do you mean by the parliamentary form of government? The parliamentary form of government means when the executives of a nation are accountable to the legislative bodies of that nation. Okay. What are these executive and legislative? Again, we will be covering in the next lecture. So for the meanwhile, just remember that in parliamentary form of government, the executives are accountable or answerable to the legislative bodies of that nation. However, it is not so in the presidential form of government. Okay. Now the idea of the rule of law. So what does that word rule of law mean? The word rule of law means that the rule in the entire nation would be of law, not of a person, not of a family, but law would be the most significant aspect when it comes to the ruling within India. Next comes institution of the speaker and her role of the law. These are the various things, like we have a speaker in Lok Sabha. So all these positions, all these posts were also inspired by the British Constitution. Now comes the Irish Constitution. So from Irish constitutions, we have adopted directive principles of state policy. Okay, what are these directive principles of state policy? Keep your curiosities at check. We will be covering up in the upcoming classes. Okay. Meanwhile, just get to know about these terms. French Constitution, principles of liberty, equality and fraternity. So our Indian Constitution, it comprises of various valuable and high moral ideas and values. Okay, and some of them are liberty, equality and fraternity, that each individual has, like the Indian Constitution imbibes the values of liberty, equality and fraternity. Each individual can be liberal. Each Indian citizen enjoys equality, enjoys fraternity as a feeling of commonhood. Okay. From the Canadian Constitution, we got federal, and Indian Constitution was also inspired with this fundamental rights which are mentioned in the US Constitution. Judicial review. Learn this term, we will be knowing what is it. And independence of judiciary, like judiciary works independently. Okay. So all these ideas were inspired by the USA's Constitution. So keep on remembering these significant aspects, get familiar to these terms, and in case of any doubt you can always reach out to us. We'll get this cleared. Okay.